World Climate Change Conference has just concluded. Where was it held? Egypt? And was it COP27? Is that what it was called? Yeah. And unfortunately, it doesn't sound like anything really happened. I didn't have very high hopes for it. People aren't ready to do the right thing, right? And in my opinion, the leaders of the world are not strong enough to do the right thing. Maybe years ago, people were ready to stand up and to do the right thing, and now almost everything is political. And climate change is political too. And in Western Canada, it is a huge issue if it means giving up oil. And it's a huge issue for all of us. If it would mean for us to cut back or to give up our cars, who's willing to do that? There's now, 8 billion people in the world? I remember when I was a kid, I think there were 3 billion people. There's 8 billion people in the world. And without trying to scare anybody, can the earth manage that many people? Can we manage that many people burning up as much carbon fuels as what it is that we do? Keeping our houses warm and our cars and vehicles going? It's a good question. When I read the gospel this morning in preparation of my sermon, the words jumped out at me. It's the words of Jesus on the cross. And Jesus said, "Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing." Father, forgive us, all of us, because we do not know what we are doing. Are these the words that all of us need to hear and the whole world needs to hear? You can just think about all the times in human history when people made a mistake in judgment. We can only see the world from our perspective and from our eyes and with our education. And when you look back through the history of mankind, you can see all the mistakes that were made. And the words from Jesus on the cross, "Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing." I watched a documentary on Netflix. It's a short one, maybe only 45 minutes, but it's on the homeless people in the States. And at any given time, there's 500,000 homeless people in the States. And in the warmer cities, there's many more proportionately than there are in the colder cities. We don't see the problem here like they do in Vancouver and in Victoria and in places in the southern states. It's a huge problem. And they went through and asked and interviewed so many of the people who were homeless. And it was interesting stories. Drug addiction for sure, alcoholism for sure, mental illness was a huge issue and a problem. And some kids, one young person said, "I came out as transgender and I was ostracized from my family, kicked out of my home, and here I am on the street. Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing." When I deal with families in crisis, and I go through the family history, and you hear the family history from one generation after the next, and you hear about some terrible tragedy or a terrible thing that happened in a family. Maybe years and years of alcoholism, or maybe there was a tragic death or a murder in the family, or there was a divorce in the family. And you can go back and see how that one incident changed the history of this family, one generation after the other. And the words ring through, "Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing." Anybody who's caught up in addiction and an abusive kind of lifestyle, they don't know what they are doing. They do not understand that what they are doing is having such a profound effect, not only on their life, but on the lives of all the people that they are connected with. And not only this, they don't realize that how many generations in the years to come these actions and these deeds are going to affect. Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing. In my sessions with people, and I talk about childhood issues because that's really where most of our issues come from. I listen to the stories about parents who have hurt their children. And the things that they did and said, angry parents, okay? Parents who vanished out of a child's life, the divorce issue, all of that. And I asked them, do you think your parent deliberately did and said these things? And they said, I never thought of it that way. I said, if you think your parent deliberately did these things and said these things and was deliberately this abusive to you, trying to destroy your soul, you should be angry at them for the rest of your life. But if you believe that they did not know what they are doing, or they're just acting out from their own pain, in their own hearts, from their own childhoods, it's a better way for us to understand. We should say the prayer that Jesus prayed. Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing. Maybe your parents didn't know what they were doing. They were just repeating what their parents had done to them. And rather than taking it so personally as we always do, step back, become the strong person, and say the prayer, Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing. Probably things in our own life that we don't know what we're doing. Our ego prevents us from taking a really solid look at how we parented, or how we are as a spouse, or how we interact with other people. But maybe today is the day to become introspective and say the prayer for ourselves. Father, forgive me, because I don't know what I'm doing. Amen.